I'm Ejasu from Unless. In this video, let's find out how Visma Economic used custom Unless drop-in components to improve its onboarding experience and brought the load time from 10 seconds to 300 milliseconds. That's 30 times faster. The Visma Group is a leading provider of software and services in the private and public sector. They have a wide presence with over 200 companies worldwide, 14,000 employees, and over 1.2 million customers. They value local presence and expertise while sharing world-class competence across the organization. One great example of this is the Visma Data Lake that they built to enable Visma companies to bring business value out of their data and making it accessible in a secure and reliable way. Economic, which is part of the Visma Group, offers an award-winning web application for online accounting. As a SaaS provider, they are aware of the importance of onboarding as it can make or break an account and its customer lifetime value. According to a 2020 survey, over 90% of customers feel companies could do better when it comes to onboarding, and 86% say they'll be more likely to stay loyal to a business that invests in onboarding. For that reason, they made use of in-app messaging with an onboarding focus on the home tab of their application. However, there was an issue. The average loading time of the in-app message was about 10 seconds, during which most users would have already navigated away from the page without seeing it. And of course, in the day and age of the internet, every millisecond counts. They addressed this with the help of Unless and its custom drop-in components, which brought the load time from 10 seconds to 300 milliseconds. Or in other words, 30 times faster. This improvement in performance meant many more users of Economic were now seeing the in-app message block. With Visma Data Lake and Unless joining forces, it was also possible to segment their users based on a variety of data points and provide them with information and nudges throughout the web application to ensure the ease and success of their customers. Let's find out how they executed this. In order to display relevant onboarding experiences via Unless components, Economic had to first segment its users into audiences. Their customers include small and medium-sized companies, as well as accountants and bookkeepers, different groups with different needs. How much time passed since someone signed up and which actions they already took are also important indications of what the next step or recommendation should be. For this, Economic was able to get the data directly from the Visma Data Lake and into Unless and get started quickly. Visma Economic opted for a combination of behavior and in-app data as well as information from the data lake in order to provide a real-time, hyper-personalized, and account-specific onboarding experience. Particularly during the onboarding stage, where users are new and there may be a fresh-out-of-water feeling, it is very valuable to provide them with help and educational content. Often, you have to educate your users on the subject broadly and your product specifically, while making sure they take the actions that are crucial to the use of your application. Visma Economic implemented a variety of Unless experiences for this purpose. One approach was replacing one of the blocks on their homepage of the application with a personalized Unless component that would fit the Economic branding and dashboard as well. In addition to being aesthetically pleasing, this was especially important in order to match the design guidelines of Economic. Luckily, this was easy to do since all Unless components can be tinkered with to match your company branding, whether it be the colors, fonts, or something else. And additionally, components can be custom built by the Unless team, by your developers, or an agency with additional functionality. This way, the custom Unless component with relevant content recommendations or CTAs could appear natively within the app. Let's take a look at some examples. First, providing educational content about accounting and bookkeeping. Depending on what your application is about, and especially if you are in a B2B context, it is likely that some of your users will need educational content about the subject itself. In the case of Economic, it is about accounting and bookkeeping. You are now looking at an example of a custom Unless component that is showcasing an accounting guide for beginners that can be downloaded. It would be possible to identify these users based on whether they're an individual or working at a company, size of the company, amount of experience, seniority, and so on. Optionally, you could use self-segmentation to ask them directly whether they would like such content or not, if they are new to bookkeeping, and so on. Second, providing educational content about Economic. Once you are certain that your users are up to date with information on the subject matter broadly, you can get started with educational content about your product specifically. After all, at the heart of a product onboarding lies your product. Here you will find a selection of screenshots where Economic has communicated to its users that they have a mobile application, an Ecopedia, a Getting Started guide, and more. They have also used this space with an Unless component to provide tips to their users about different functionality that is available in their app, like an overview of your VAT calculation. With all the content recommendations and guidance they were providing, of course it was also important to test those messages and see which ones are working better. And when you have as many contacts as Economic does, it can be easy to get statistically significant results very rapidly. Here is an example of 2 variations they came up with in order to promote either their free self-help universe called Ecopedia or their online courses. Using these 2 variations, they gained insights into which one of the offerings is most relevant to their trial customers. The CTA has remained the same, however, they have slightly adjusted the headline and subhead while also using a different visual. Third, providing account-related guidance. Now that we've looked at users knowing about the subject matter more broadly and the product more specifically, there are also some practicalities to keep in mind. With any application, there will often be some steps that you as a user need to take, whether it be to confirm your email address, add your colleagues, fill in your account information, select payment method, and so on. In this example you are seeing right now, Economic has used 2 variations about setting up automatic payments. This time, the visual remained the same, the CTA was slightly adjusted, and the headline and subhead were changed noticeably. Now that we've seen some examples, it is time for key takeaways. Onboarding is really important. You've seen the numbers, and it's not just about today, but tomorrow and the day after, and so on. Well onboarded, happy customers could mean a higher CLV, increased upsell potential, as well as an ally and your best salespeople, both internally and externally. Your data is only valuable if it's accessible and actionable. In the case of Economic, this meant simply connecting the FISMA data lake to Unless and not having to worry about which data is where, how to get it, how to ensure it's clean, correct, and up to date. Your changes don't have to be limited to elements that already exist on a page, nor to components that are already out of the box. You can get creative with your ideas, and at Unless, we are happy to assist in making them a reality. That's it for this video. You can contact us for more information and make sure to stay tuned for future videos. Bye!